Well, there we go, and welcome to OEG Live. And we are live streaming now, and this is the official welcome to Open Education Week. And I'm Alan Levine, and we're just glad to have people here watching in the YouTube audience. And mostly, we're here just to be in the, as we've been calling it, the town square for open education, which is what we've been liking to think about what's happening this week, because there's so much going on. And I'm really pleased to be joined some special guests. I'm going to turn it over to my colleagues to introduce themselves you represent OEGlobal, and we're going to talk about what we're doing this week and a little bit of perspective, and maybe we'll talk about the weather. So first I'm going to turn over to Executive Co-Director, and I can say now, Dr. Igor Lesko, who's coming to us, I believe, from Slovakia. So hello, Igor, and how are you this morning?
Good morning, Alan, and good morning, everybody else, and especially our online audience, and happy Open Education Week 2026, all things considered. I'm connecting from South Slovakia at this point in time, but I do live in South Africa. But last week I was in the Netherlands, which was another series of events, which is actually a nice collective of events leading up to Open Education Week, which was organized by the Global OER Graduate Network. And I'm going to speak a little bit more about this as we progress. But yes, it's wonderful being here, and it's what can I say? It's almost there's a spring in the air, so that's normally associated with a feeling of hope, and hope is certainly something that we can do with, especially considering the geopolitical developments. And so, these sorts of developments really underscore the importance of continuing the work that we do and the importance of it going forward. So thank you very much, Alan, and thank you for having us, and thank you to the community for supporting these events so prominently.
All right. Hola, Marcela.
Hola. I'll follow. So my name is Marcela Morales, and I'm Co-Executive Director of Open Education Global, together with Igor. And I just wanted to welcome everyone and happy Open Education Week. It's really, truly a joy to see this global community come together every year in the spirit of openness and collaboration and this shared purpose. And it's so exciting to see what is going on every year. And Open Education Week, as Igor was saying, is more than a series of events. It's really a global celebration of what's possible when knowledge is accessible, and when we lower the barriers, and when we work together across institutions and borders and cultures to expand the opportunity for all. And thank you for being here, for sharing your time and your expertise, and for helping us make this not just an event, but a true community experience, which is one of the things that we really like about Open Education Week, is that it's not only OEGlobal's event, but really a true community event. So I just want to encourage everyone, now that we are officially starting Open Education Week, to explore the calendar and join us as many sessions as you can. And you will find inspiring work and voices from all around the world. So I can't wait to see what this Open Education Week will bring. And we're very excited to making the official announcement of this 2026 Open Education Week. So welcome.
Excellent. And now you say hello to Glenda Cox in South Africa, who's Vice President of the OEGlobal Board. Welcome, Glenda, to the show.
Thank you so much, Alan. It's a pleasure to be here. Welcome to everyone that's listening in. A word just to start off with is to just say thank you very much to Alan for all the hard work that goes into this, and for really making this the most exciting week. I know you put a lot of effort into it, and it really is it's always a success, and it always feels wonderful to be part of this community. So yes, I'm from the University of Cape Town, South Africa. It's to talk about the weather. It's a good summer's day. We're heading towards the end of summer. Everything is good here. Our students have started at university, so that's nice and relatively smoothly. So we're getting into our year. And yeah, we'll be excited to tell you a little bit more later about some of the student projects that we're doing. So not only at the University of Cape Town, but also more broadly as part of UNESCO Unitwin Open Education Network, where we're including students in a lot of our work as fellows. So we'll talk about that a little bit more later. So thank you for having me here.
Oh, thank you so much. And now to say ciao to our good friend and colleague, board member, Paola Corti, tuning in from evening, I would think, in Italy. Hello, Paola.
Yeah. Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Greetings from Italy. It's nice to see familiar faces on screen, and I know that there are lots of people behind the scenes that are listening and attending, and everyone was waiting for the Open Education Week in the community. So I'm very happy to be here as part of the team. My name is Paola Corti. As Alan said, I'm based in Italy and I work at Politecnico di Milano in the Learning Innovation Unit, and also with the Spark Europe, which is a foundation devoted to the opens around Europe. And I have the privilege to work very often with librarians, and I'm grateful for the work that they do. And there are lots of events that I'm willing to attend. Unfortunately, I was not good enough to prepare the background image today, but I am also going to be one of the ambassadors for Open Education Week whenever I'm able to attend one of the events. So forgive me, Alan, not to be ready with that immediately, but I will soon.
Oh, there's no apologies, and we'll talk about that ambassador soon. But I want to welcome our board president, Perrine Dakota-Lejeune. Bonsoir, Perrine.
Bonjour, bonsoir. So yes, it's a pleasure to open this Open Education Week. It has already begun in some universities, and I was already part of listening and being the ambassador to the Switzerland's universities earlier this afternoon. I think this is a wonderful innovation this year to be able to, come to the session and support more and, gather more from the event, as there are so many that we cannot make them all, but at least follow up is a great thing. So I am also the founder of Open Education Global Francophone. I'm really glad to see how lively it has become. You have a whole month organized by La Fabriquerelle in Canada, ending with me on the 26th of March and the activities of OEG Francophone globally. So I'm very happy to see how interesting it is, from introduction to open education to really what we share, why we share at Nantes University this week with also German colleagues and Glenda, of course, through the UNESCO network, working together on our favorite thematic. Thank you again to have organized all this. I mean, not only you as staff, but also all the community watching. Thank you very much all.
All right, this is great, and we're all happy, and we've got the weather covered and our backgrounds and what's going on. But Open Education Week's been going on for a long time, and I'd like to ask our colleagues, especially Igor and Marcela, who were here from the beginning, like, can you talk about like what it was and what it is now?
Yeah, sure. So as you were saying, Open Education Week started some time ago, so since 2012. So we're going to having the 15th anniversary next year. And going back to when we started, we really started this space where the community could gather. So the purpose has always been the same, to open a space truly open when anyone can come and join and celebrate what they're doing in their corner of the world and have an opportunity to share it with the rest of the world. So I do have to say that when we started in 2012, we were not expecting it to become what it has. What we all in the OEGlobal staff and the board, we have been seeing that this has been truly a community event. So we have seen throughout the years how the community has been adopting the Open Education Week for themselves. And I know that, Alan, that you and I have been discussing this in the past, like of how the community come to us saying, oh, I'm doing Open Education Week next year. So it has been fascinating to see how the community has adopted the concept of this Open Education Week through the years. And what I also see fascinating is how we see the evolution of openness in different parts of the world. So we commonly say how we have this very broad concept of what open education is, which has allowed for anybody to adopt it in their own context and addressing their own needs. So I have always been fascinated to see how that adoption has been transforming in different parts of the world through these 14 years that we we have been doing Open Education Week.
Yes, I would like, and I would just like to
Igor.
echo what Marcela has already said in this way. And really, I mean, at the beginning, we try to support and organize many of the events ourselves. And what we are trying to really do now is to shift our focus to things like supporting the events organized by our members, by our community. Hence the Open Education Ambassadors program, for example, that was spoken about by Perrin here, for example. But we also see that the events are growing organically. So our role is shifting more to the sort of support role, to amplifying the role, to connecting the community during this event. And this is really wonderful to see how it really grows. Another aspect is that even though we have been going on since 2012, really, there are always new entrants to the field. And so there are always new people who try to experiment with open education and just, the institutions. And so Open Education Week is not just, the event to celebrate the existing initiatives, but it's actually to support and to catalyze developments in different institutions. So we really are supporting opening up of education, not just open education in that sense. So it's a call to action. And I think this is something that people should always remember within the community as well. And we always, every week or every year, we hear about new exciting developments worldwide. And so that's really great to see. And it's wonderful to see the support of the community overall. So thank you all.
Oh, wonderful. And, and Marcela, talk about, like, we often come across, as I'm bouncing around the web, like, we see people doing open education, but we don't necessarily always have them registered. We try to make sure they're all on the calendar, but it's kind of picked up as a thing of its own. And a small thing that helps, I think, is this idea. You can see some of the graphics behind us. We generally customize or come up with sort of some different visual themes each year. And our brilliant designer, Mario Badia, comes up with these graphics, and then we make them available for people to reuse. And so one of the exciting things is, as you're looking at the different events, and of course they are openly licensed, as they should be, that you sort of see Open Education Week, like, remixing itself out, and people are saying, like, I want to be part of this, but we're making this local event. And the other thing, as the events come in, a lot of, there's a lot of focus on, of course, online and making sure that people can participate. But there's a lot of in-person events, which have always been sort of important to say, like, it's not that everybody can participate in everything, but that there's so many things happening around the world. And so, I've been excited to see there's like book fairs, there's some craft activities. There is an activity from a college where Scottsdale Community College, where they asked for students in classes who use OER to write sort of like a statement about what it means to them. And they printed these out and they put them on the faculty member's door as a nice surprise and welcome for Open Education Week. And there's some very small things like that that show that the gratitude and appreciation for what people are doing. And then, of course, there's like so much going on that no one can really take it all in. And so we try to encourage that collective sharing of what's going on. But we can talk about that. And I don't want to talk about like some of the things, like one thing is like the week. Like, we've gone through this exercise of, like, because this week is really not optimal for many parts of the world. And we tried to find the best week. And as you know, like, it's always not optimal for someone. So we've had this flexibility that we're trying to gather events that are happening now through into April. And we focus our energy this week on promoting them, but there's things going on and we just want to bring them to the surface this week and make them visible. So I'd like to hear what some things that people are looking forward to doing in this week that they've put on their calendar so far. Anybody want to jump in on that?
Perrin?
Well, I noticed, of course, Wiki loves Africa, and I'm having a special thought for Ayla and all the community of Wikipedia, of course, working hard with the local community, having developed Wiki Loves Africa. And I was really glad to be the jury this year of Wikidia for children at schools in French and English, and it was lovely to see how much you could gather within one action, like Wikidia. So yes, this will be my next my next session, and the one after will be for the Nantes University and Colin de la Higuera, who is really having 3 researchers, and he wishes to launch GoGN for francophones, and therefore this is why we share, but also why we should, and how it's the first, how to organize this around research. There are already many research on open education in French, but not as much as in English. So this is, as you said, Igor, this is exactly what it means to be a call to action during OEWeek, and other great events like Marcus Diamond, who works a lot on how open education can also give us solution against the geopolitics, and let's say the politics can give us a solution, and let's think together about it. I'm very keen on working on this subject this year with him.
Excellent. And I want to thank you. Started with the Wiki Loves Africa. I got to be part of the jury committee last year, which was a fascinating process. So I thank them for making a part of it.
I must also quote Jules Fanmouet, who is really working a lot with me. He has been working for 3 years, and he's now organizing a local event with no hybrid format in Cameroon. And he's very happy to have been able to publish this. It has given him a deadline to organize something locally, etc. So you cannot join him, but still you can see what is currently going on with his thanks to his action and his participation to OEG Francophone, for example.
Excellent. And that's just part of that idea about maybe you can't participate in everything, but you know that it's happening, and that gives people ideas. And the photo, there's also the TU Delft, We Love Sharing. They've done every year for Open Education Week. It's a wonderful model. And, I like to think, just because I love photography, but it's sort of a way to it's one of the most easy ways to share, but also like we can find things that sort of can give us some optimism and hope, and get away from the death scroll of news, and sort of a way to see the world. And so that's what we like seeing during Open Education Week. So Glenda, what do you have anything on your calendar this week?
Yeah, well, tomorrow I want to listen into the African Libraries Association meeting. I know Igor's on the list of, I think, presenters for that, but it's not, I know that it's a very, very interesting open community, and I haven't had the opportunity to go to any of those conferences. So I always seem to miss them. So I'm quite excited to listen into some of that. Nice, interesting conversation around libraries in Africa. And then on Thursday, Jaco Olivier from the Commonwealth of Learning is going to be doing a kind of a group presentation. He is busy putting a book together on open education and localization and translation. And there will be a chapter from UCT. So some of my colleagues from the University of Cape Town will be presenting. I won't be able to make it, but that should be a very interesting look into to what's happening there. So, and we know the Commonwealth of Learning, they often do quite exciting little events for this week. So they're really, it's worth looking out to see what the contribution is going to be this week. So those are just some of the little highlights that I've kind of flagged in my calendar. And of course, I'm doing lots of teaching this week, so I can't go to everything. But that's how we, that's exactly the point of juggling, and that is the nice thing, that we can join in on other weeks as well. Makes it more flexible. Thanks.
Great. And Paula, the Olympics are done, so you must be free to roam around, right?
Yeah, actually, I'm not skiing, so or the curling has been the highlight this year. No, I have a lot in the agenda, and I want to again say that I'm grateful that Open Education Week became 2 months lately, because now it's much more sustainable, not only to share events, but also to take part in the events that others are organizing. So it's nice to have them collected in one place and be able to jump in when you have time, when you can make time. I am also busy with organizing some events this week. 3 of them are going to be in Italian for the Italian community, organized. 2 of them actually are going to be tomorrow and the day after tomorrow, to again go back to capacity building and to start from the basics of open education, licensing, what does it mean to create, share, reuse, adapt an open educational resource. And then we are going to build on that, discussing more around universal design for learning the day after. And on Friday, we are going to have another event in Italian, organized together with the Open Education Italia team, which is an informal network, but we are lucky enough to have some great experts sitting and discussing the relationship between open education and open software. So I will do my best to be there on top of helping the behind-the-scenes organization. And we are also going to organize an Open Education Cafe on Thursday with my Spark Europe hat on. Together with the UNESCO, we have guests discussing reward and recognition of professional development on OER. And it's going to be something that I feel like I have the privilege to sit with those people and to have the opportunity to learn from them. They come from Europe, but not only from Europe, because that's why we wanted to co-organize this with UNESCO, because we wanted to have guests from other regions and listen to them, understand better what works for them and how we can learn from each other and help each other out. And I also have a session which is going to be, you said that we need some oxygen somehow, Alan, given the global situation. And this is one of those sessions that I look forward to breathe. A session with the co-authors of Together, which was a children book in the end, co-created, and thanks to the leadership of Christine Ranzi, who is open education creative professor at Leeds University in the UK. And it's been authored during COVID, actually, across countries and regions by a bunch of people, including me, who had fun co-creating resources after asking the global open education community about the values of open education and how they could be represented. So it's going to be a nice session to creatively get together and discuss. But most of all, I look forward to attend some of the sessions that are organized by others, because that's the real learning opportunity. And I very much look forward to attending as many sessions as doable this week. And then continue till the end of April, who knows?
Very busy. And Marcela, what's going on in the Spanish-speaking world? Latin speaking.
Yeah, the Spanish speaking world. Yes, they always have participation in OEWeek. I'm really looking forward to engaging with the Spanish speaking community. One of the events that I'm looking forward to participating is it's an observatory of data, which comes from the University of UNAM, which is a member of Open Education Global. And I'm really looking forward to seeing what they're going to be doing. So this is an observatory of searching for how AI images can support the research work that they do at the institution. So that's one that I'm looking forward to. It's on Thursday. But I'm starting my journey today with other participation for the community colleges, which, as you know, have always been very present in Open Education Week. And so in about an hour and a half, they're having a keynote from let me just get the San Diego Community College District. And the title of it is Open Hearts, Empowering Educators with Open Resources and Practices. So I'm really curious to hear what they're going to be sharing, because as we all know, the use of OER in our classrooms, it's done by our champion professors and teachers. So that's going to be my first session, and it's happening today. And again, the calendar that we're being shared from the community colleges is always quite impressive. So I'll be following their work as well. And for the Spanish-speaking community, they're all over. So they're going to be sharing resources. We also have an overlap with the Wiki World, which I'm really looking forward. And that's happening in my hometown from Monterrey, Mexico. So I'm really looking forward to participating in that as well.
That's great. And just your shout out for the Open Heart session. That's Brenna Clark-Gray from Thompson Rivers University, an amazing speaker. I might have to tap into that one too. So highly recommend. I just want to put one in that came to get. Oh, that's the wrong link that I just put into the chat. But we had some connections during the OEGlobal tour last October with some educators in the Middle East and North Africa region. And we heard this sort of like interest in having a conversation about OER in Arabic. And so group has organized this OER Inshallah session on Thursday. And we're going to hear from about 6 different speakers in the region. And we're happy to host it, and we're turning it over to them to run the conference. So you won't necessarily have to put up with me blabbing so much. But let's talk about these. This ambassador, we've been mentioning it, and people can see your program, and we're very excited to be talking about this. But who wants to give it a little bit of an overview? Can you take that on, Marcela?
I would encourage you to do the general overview of who the ambassadors are and how we're going to be working. You have 3 of them on screen now. I'm very happy to be one of them. Yeah, please go ahead.
Oh, so this is just a general, recognition that a lot of times that we've done at Open Education Global is we get so excited, and I'm guilty of this, of organizing way too many events, and we end up doing them. And the whole idea is we should be encouraging not only us, but other people to go out and being participants in other people's events. And we know it just means so much when people outside an organization show up to what someone has put together. So credit to my colleague, Heather Blicker from CCOER for coming up with this idea of ambassadors. We're just trying it with a small group right now that we're basically commissioning, not a big overhead. It's just to show up and be present, not to talk, not to be a speaker at someone's event, but just to say hey, I'll be coming to your event, and I'm just there to support you, and to, because we believe so much in the work that you're doing. And they'll be wearing these badges. And the other thing that we're asking them to do is, because it's this problem of, dispersed information. So, no one can sit in every webinar and session that's going on during Open Education Week. So we're asking them to share back one key finding, one significant link that is worth sharing with the rest of the community. And we'll be collecting those and putting them up and making them appear on the ambassadors page. So it's new and exciting, and we're kind of seeing this as a little bit of a flip in the way that we approach Open Education Week, and that's all very exciting. So thank you to our ambassadors who are already sporting their badges. I have mine on a different background. I'm the host now, so I can't be an ambassador to my own session. That would be weird. But again, the whole idea is just showing up for others, and that's the theme that we're putting out there. So again, thank you, Heather, for such a brilliant idea to bring forward this year, and we've got a lot of excitement for it.
Well, if I can add a word on that. I'm also part of the community of the Open Recognition Alliance, and this is where I really thought a lot of how you recognize. And so, Heather, well done. This is typically just being there, supportive, and already giving a special attention to some session we can attend is already something that I care for. Not only the people who speak, but as a person, I think it's very important to recognize the work that others do. And so, yes, it's completely part of Open Badges community and all the work I have done within my University of Lille. Thank you.
Excellent. And before we have one like really big topic to talk about, but while I'm bringing up this link, Marcela, can you share the shirt that you're wearing?
Yes, absolutely. So I have my OEWeek shirt, proudly wearing my OEWeek 26 shirt. And we were saying at the beginning, so the beautiful graphics of Mario look wonderful anywhere. So I'm wearing that.
Yeah, so I was fiddling trying to get the link. We have our little like swag shop, and so you can order your own shirts with this year's design on them. By the time mine gets here, I think it'll be late March, but you'll be seeing us wear those shirts year round, and it's just again part of trying to make the recognition shown of what's going on. But I want to give some space also to talk about the other. I'll get you your link, Todd. People are asking, and they already want their swag. People love the OEG swag. But something that is huge been going on internally, and we're proud to be able to announce after a lot of community input and trying to figure out the best possible approaches is the sort of the format, and now the website is open for the October OEGlobal conference. And so can we talk about how, what we're able to put out there right now and make available for everybody to now take in? Igor?
Thank you, Alan. Well, but before we get there, actually, I just want to come back to Open Education Week for a little bit of time, Steve, if I may, because I think it still deserves a little bit of a conversation around what is to come. And I just want to, well, first of all, say thank you, and also to our team members for all the work behind the scenes, because it's really important. And this is the type of work that often gets unacknowledged and unnoticed. But yes, we do notice, and everybody notices. So thank you. And also just to everybody here, especially our board members, for actively participating in events, for organizing events, and for helping to provide strategic direction for OEGlobal, for example, and the movement overall. And for example, Perrine here has mentioned University of Nantes, and the active collaborations that we have been having with them over the years. This is always great. As you know, last year it was 23 Reasons, which was the initiative of the University of Nantes, which was published 23 Reasons for Open Education. This year it's 16 Barriers to Open Sharing, which many of you have participated in as well, and which is going to be released over these coming days. So these are the kinds of collaborations that we really truly appreciate. But just to also come back to what I think Glenda was speaking about some of the regionally focused events, and this is something that we would like to really encourage everyone to participate in. So, for example, the event that Glenda mentioned that is happening tomorrow and on Wednesday, on Tuesday and on Wednesday, to be precise, because of time differences, one needs to be clear. Which is the virtual summit, Open Education Week, organized by the African Library and information associations and institutions, and they've got really members across all African countries, and they do recognize the critical role of librarians, the role that they play in advancing open education, and they really do focus on building capacities of librarians to advance open education from both practical point of view, in terms of practices, in terms of strategies, institutional, and in terms of policy level developments too. And I think we have a very strong community of librarians here. We heard from our colleague Heather here, who was speaking earlier, and also Paola is working with the European Network of Open Education Librarians. We know that in many instances, in many parts of the world, it's the librarians who are leading the way, and it's often the entry point to open education through other sort of open access, open research initiatives. So I just want to emphasize these points as well, and encourage people, and I'm not advertising this even necessarily because I'm speaking there, but because it's actually really important to meet people from different African countries, see what they're working on, see where they see the opportunities, see where they see the challenges, and see where we as a community can also learn from each other and collaborate. And so, yes, you are very strongly encouraged to participate in those events. And also, I would like to shamelessly plug another event that is happening tomorrow, which is a Network of Open Orgs meeting that's on Tuesday. And I think I have a link somewhere here, or if not, I'm going to ask one of our colleagues to please put it into the chat as well. which is where many of the organizations in the open space are part of. And it's something that was actually created in 2019 and is coordinated by Open Education Global. And it was in response to the UNESCO recommendation on open educational resources adopted in 2019. And as a network of organizations, we collaborate, we meet together on a monthly basis. We try to support each other's activities. We try to see how we can find common areas of interest and potentially collaborations into the future, especially on bigger projects where we cannot work on alone. So this is a session that is happening tomorrow. If you want to see how we operate as a network, and if you have any questions or comments about this, this is the session to attend. But of course, there are many other sessions throughout the week. So please, we encourage the entire community to engage. Coming back to Open Education Global Conference, yes, 26. So thank you, Alan, for that. Maybe that's another link. If you could please plug it into the chat window. We have just we have published the conference website, and we have also opened up the call for proposals. So that one is now live. We had a consultation process with the community over the past couple of months to address obviously the developments that we all see, and we heard different types of feedback from the community, and we processed it. We discussed it internally with the OEGlobal Board of Directors as well, and decided to proceed in a hybrid format, which basically means that the conference will be in person at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology in Boston, but also online. So people will be able to participate as participants or presenters, both in person and online formats. And there will also be some forms of in-person community-driven gatherings, in-person gatherings around the world that can organize themselves around the core conference programming from our side. So if there is a community that wants to do that kind of activities, they are encouraged to do so. From our side, we can see how we can help amplify these kinds of events around the conference too. Currently, the call for proposals is open. It's open until the end of March. It's exciting. It's an exciting theme. If I could maybe just ask our colleague to go there. Come invented us open education practices to uphold and uplift knowledge as a public good. So obviously that's also another call to action. We have looked at 4 different tracks. So the community should be able to find their niche areas in those elements. One of the areas that you also want to focus on, I think as a community, or that we should focus on, and this is not separately something that was endorsed by all the conference organizers necessarily, but as a community, I think it's also the time for us to discuss what's the future for open education in general. It's that kind of time for reflection, perhaps, and to really talk about what's the new shared vision like, considering all things, and the new sort of developments in the field as well, including artificial intelligence. What are the implications for those? So that's going to be one of the focus areas, certainly for the movement overall and for the participating organizations going forward. I hope that this clarifies it for now. But if there are any questions, obviously all of those who are also attending online are free to ask any questions while we are speaking. But I'm also going to hand over to my colleague Marcela or any members of the board who are also obviously part of these decision-making processes and who can speak about the conference with much confidence.
Yeah, thank you, Igor. And I echo everything that you just said. I think that just highlighting that the purpose of having this new format goes back to what you were saying in the beginning of the call, that the role of OEGlobal is really creating these spaces of connection, making sure that we can open a space for any community member to connect with us and connect with each other. So this new format of having it in person, online, and even opening a space for these community gatherings is really the purpose. That's really our purpose, to make sure that we can open these spaces of conversation with everybody. So the call for proposal is open. We want to welcome everybody to take part of it in whichever format fits better for their own context and their own particular needs. But I want to pass it along to any of our board members, Perrine, Paola, or Glenda, if you have anything else to add to that.
Well, I think the community has a lot to bring. You know, these are not new thematics to many of us, like AI or what open education should bring to democracy, and how difficult it has become, because there are people who are fighting the idea of a universal access to everyone to education, and this is completely new with this power that well, we have been thinking of it for 4 years now, and it's really time to draft it and work it together, and against, individually and each of us. And this is my hope for the next 25 years, like Wikipedia does, So yes, let's hear you all from the community, and let's take the opportunity of the conference in 6 months to hear your thoughts on that. Thank you very much.
It's worth noting before anybody else jumps in that this is the 25th anniversary of OpenCourseware. MIT has a celebration planned in April, so it's a monumental achievement, and so much is owned for what was started there. And we're really proud to honor that legacy and also look forward. I mean, I think that's the theme of the conference too, is to think about what innovation means going into the future, because innovation makes things happen, and we definitely need more of that in the world. Any other thoughts, to shout out on the conference, since I just barged right in there?
No, just encourage people to review the information that we currently have on the website. There's already quite a bit of substantial information, including, those who are planning to or can travel, they can find out information about potential areas of accommodation, for example, process around visa, how to apply for visas, how to apply for support letters or invitation letters. All that information is already available there. The call for proposals is available there. You can submit. We are using Shed to facilitate the call for proposals process, and also the review process, which is slightly different from the previous year. Previous years used to use EasyChair to facilitate, so it's a bit of a learning curve for all of us this year. This year we are trying to but to synchronize basically the tech infrastructure, just to make it a bit more of a seamless process, and we'll see. We'll learn from the process itself. But to also say to the community that is present here on this call, and then certainly we'll promote this more widely, is that we are going to be looking for reviewers to help us with that process too, over the next week or two. So watch out for that invitations, and if you have some space and time to assist us with the reviews of proposals, especially in the April timeframe, we will appreciate it. And that's about it for now, I think.
Yeah. Well, that's exciting. I know we have a lot to do this week, and thank you everybody for being here, audience members too. Also, just one last little bit too, that events are a big part of Open Education Week too. But we're also, as you're going around and discovering all these things and scribbling down, whether you put them on your note paper or you keep tracks, you bookmark interesting resources. We're looking for people to share whatever is like current or new in terms of their OER creation and open education practices, but also note the things that you see from other people as you navigate through Open Education Week. And we try to collect it and sort of came up with this idea, instead of rather than building our little tiny database, is to share it somewhere in an existing repository that is most appropriate to where you are in the world, because there's so many different collections and places to do this sharing of OER. And so we're just, again, trying to, with the events, make open education visible, also with the open assets. And thank you again. And last thoughts, we could give the hearty OEGlobal cheer. No, we don't have an official cheer, do we? Just go open, enjoy the week, connect, and really, again, make sure as much as possible that we acknowledge each other and what we're trying to do collectively, because it's a big undertaking that we all do.
Exactly. Thank you, everyone, and welcome officially to Open Education Week.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Alan.
Thank you.